What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we're doing our best to be the bridge between our fellow real estate investors, entrepreneurs alike, and the cryptocurrency world because crypto is the biggest opportunity over the next few years and it's not even close. So, welcome along on the journey. Corey, take it away.
Absolutely. Corey Geary here, and we are in the beautiful country of Puerto Rico. Yeah, and she wants to say hi. Say hi. You're not gonna say hi? Okay. So we're out here just hanging out in the beautiful sun. We went to the beach this morning and we went down there to go shoot some content. That was an absolute blast. And we're just on this journey with all of you guys where we're going to use crypto as that wealth creation tool and use real estate as a wealth preservation tool and change the trajectory, not only of our lives, but hopefully their lives too, right? This is the idea. This is the mission we're on. And also to spend the time with whom we want, however we want, when we want. And it's been a beautiful experience so far. Even on these bloody red days where everyone's infighting and pissed off. And once again, I think Brizology hit the nail on the head yesterday. He's like, this is not what's causing the price to go down. It's just part of the cycle. This is where we're at. Everything's going down. Everything's being affected. It's just that now you can point to something and go, oh, it's because of this, right? Unless the Hexican infighting, Dane, caused Bitcoin and Ethereum to go down. I didn't know we had that much power. I didn't.
Miraculous.
Like that's pretty. We're pretty strong then, if that's what we do.
That's right. That's right. The UK people are not that far ahead of us now that we're in Puerto Rico. 4 p.m. It is noon or just afternoon here for us. So welcome in, Ruth. Good to see you. Red Squirrel's here. What's up, Red Squirrel? Crypto Compassion. Yep. Glad to have you guys here. Man, there are narratives floating around everywhere on crypto Twitter, and I thought it'd be fun today to be able to talk through some of those, and we could give our input on whether or not they're accurate or they're just BS. So this should be a fun show today. Let's start here. I think this is funny. So I feel like so many of the people that have been harping on anyone that, that wanted Pulsechain to do certain things, they'd slap you and they'd say, have no expectations of profit from the work of others. We sacrifice for a political statement and that's it. Those same people are pushing the narrative of a 50-week shakeout and setting expectations of their own. And I'm curious what you think about the idea of a 50-week shakeout. Richard talked about 50 weeks to shake out the weak hands with the Hex launch. And I'm curious, do you think that the weak hands will be shaken out in 50 weeks for Pulsechain post-launch? Corey, what do you think will happen?
I mean, it's lining up with the market cycle where 50 weeks that lines up right around the Bitcoin halving, where historically we usually have a small alt run. We'll see, man. It could go longer. We could see. There's no reason why we can't do a 100-week shakeout. If that happens, and that means we have our big season, at the end of the year or maybe even next year, which would be on par too for alt season. Alt season is usually 1 year after the Bitcoin halving, the main alt season. And so, if that were to happen, then, you're going to see a lot of people shake out. I'm already seeing people shake out. That's for sure. People, tell themselves that or try to preach that narrative because that's the way they cope. And that's how they hold on to their bags, right? So they have to have something to believe in so that way they don't end up dumping their own bags. That's how they do that. They're like, oh, well, it's supposed to be 50 weeks. So I'm going to keep holding on because 50 weeks is going to be where we start going up again. What happens if we go 60 weeks? Does the 50-week guys start dropping their bags then? There's the question you got to ask yourself. And probably some of them will at that point. Because that's their holding on to dear life. Like, look, you're in the market cycle right now. And this is the time where everything bleeds back out again. This is Bitcoin hit its all-time high. Ethereum did its thing, and now we're starting to bleed back out again. And this is usually historically, we do about a 40% retrace in Bitcoin around the halving. And then you also have, altcoins, they can go up to an 80% retrace, depending on the altcoins, right? During the halving event. If you have meme coins you're holding, and stuff like that, those could absolutely get crushed and obliterated. Maybe Pulsechain itself, being it's the layer one, doesn't get as obliterated. But once again, we just don't know. We don't have a crystal ball how long that will go for. And yeah, so I mean, it'd be interesting to see what happens after 50 weeks. What would it have these 50-week guys do? Are they going to sell if it doesn't happen? is that your indicator to sell? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know. And we'll see. I mean, maybe 50 weeks is up and we do start seeing a lot more upward pressure. I mean, Hans today said April 8th because of the moon cycles and all the other, astrological stuff that happens in the world. And of course, he's a chart guy too. He's saying April 8th is the magical day where I can be bullish again. I don't know. He also has these, Jane, if you go look, I like Hans, by the way, guys. I'm going to shout him out on the show here. He's his TA seems to be pretty good. Like he's called a lot of bottoms and tops in our ecosystem. But if you go there, Dane, look at his Twitter. He's got these like clouds that he uses, and I have no idea.
I saw those.
Like Pulsechain's touching the cloud now, and he's like, "Well, if we close he goes, if we close multiple days on this cloud above or touching it, a reversal can happen." I guess he was saying. So I don't know. But I like following his stuff. I like following everyone's stuff and kind of like making my own decision what we're going to do and what's going to happen. I don't think Richard's like, I don't know. I'm not sure if he's really like trying to strategically go 50 weeks on this day.
Yeah.
Really? Why? Is that what you're doing? I don't know.
Agreed.
Narratives are there to cope, man.
And is it really a shakeout if it's something that everybody's planning on seeing? Like it's not. It's not. Yeah, here's the chart that Corey that you were talking about. Yeah, he says Pulse is touching the top of this. Ichimoku cloud, I'm gonna say is how you pronounce it. For you charting guys, go ahead and say how you pronounce it in the chat. I'm sure I got that wrong. He says,
where does the cloud come from?
Right.
What creates this cloud?
Right.
But
so we'll see. That'll be fun. Another indicator that he talked about, I think it was yesterday, that was pretty interesting. I was paying attention to this tweet. He said ETH gas fees seem to be a good top signal, noted. And this was on March 16th, 3 days ago. Let me pull this one up. This was a good one. It says, been a while. Crypto Vince, he tweeted, been a while since Ethereum gas was this low. If you've got stuff to do, better do it now. And Hans said, yeah, this could mean a larger correction. I remember the 2021 top gas fees dropped off a cliff almost overnight. And I remember thinking the same thing. I don't think it's macro top, but a healthy correction.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Another indicator to look at. I guess I didn't pay attention last cycle when ETH gas fees, dropped off a cliff. That was the end. So I'm glad we have people like Hans paying attention because there are these little indicators that, like, that's not like a narrative there. That's like an actual. It's a use case of the Ethereum blockchains dropping off. So obviously, if you follow like the Metcalfe law theory, that would, your user base is going away. So obviously price go down. So I don't remember how Metcalfe law exactly works. I know some of you guys in the chats do. It's something, I think it's price squared or whatever, or the opposite too, if you're losing users. But yeah, that's a great indicator. Like the one Sami had pointed out where
I think it's the square. Yes. I think it's if you 10x the user base, you 100x the price. I think it's how it works out. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is it correlates also with like Sami's Coinbase 3 out of 3 times at the macro, the market cycle, the big push up with Bitcoin, which is 2025 historically, it'll put us in 2025. But he was saying that Coinbase is the number one downloaded app on everyone's phones, which is a very interesting indicator to keep an eye on. We even saw it climbing the ranks. I know a couple of members in our community had been pointing it out. I think it was like number 5 just recently, which would make sense. If we had like a local top here and then we're doing a healthy correction. Like, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Agreed. This is a great, we can absolutely talk about this. I pulled up Richard's tweet. Skywalker asks if you can shed light on some of the latest posts circulating regarding if SAC funds are used, a lot of wells would sell them down, thus depleting resources. I would assume you're mentioning this tweet. If not, it'll play in really nicely. So the idea is, and it's interesting right now. So whoever is in control of the SAC wallet is advertising their buys. They're coming in, they're buying up assets on Pulsechain, and then people are counter trading those buys, which is player versus player at its finest, right? Welcome to the game. And so there's been a lot of people that are speculating, us included, that whoever is in control of those funds could obfuscate them. There's lots of ways that one could do that. We're not going to talk about those in depth, but one could obfuscate those funds and then use them to buy up so that people couldn't be tracking it as easily and counter trading those moves. And you need to get things to a place where people feel like they're stupid to sell, right? You want to get people frothy, feeling like they're dumb, they shouldn't sell, so that you don't have as many, you can limit the selling and really push prices up. And Richard is demonstrating with the liquidity pools here in this tweet about how you could do that and what it would mean to price action. So on the highlighted section here, he says 49 million is sitting bid side for Pulse and Pulse XV1 across different stables. So another 49 million in would 4x the price. Another 441 million would 100x the price if it all happened in a single order across those four pairs. It's not exact, yada, 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 because people could sell it down, so on and so forth. Nobody in their right mind would dump in $441 million in one clip to push the price 100x in an instant. And so he's just giving math. So you have a framework to consider how this stuff all works. So to your question about wells selling down, look, everyone's here to take profits, right? Make no mistake about it. We're here to take profit. We're here to take profits. Everyone's here to be able to make money. And it's funny, a lot of these people on Twitter pretend like they're here to hold forever and take no profits. God bless you. We appreciate your service. For the rest of us, we are here to grow our wealth. And so whether it be Wells or anybody else for that matter, everyone's here to sell at some point. And where those targets are for everyone individually varies. So whether you're whale or shark or dolphin, squid, it doesn't matter. Everyone's targets vary. And so based upon that, when price gets to certain places, you're going to have sell-offs. And so, if you can keep people guessing about how price may appreciate, when it will appreciate, when it'll dip, when there's a sell-off, then you can put people in a framework where they're less anxious to sell because they have less surety. And similarly, you could say the same thing about buying. I think that's the general framework. Anything you want to add to that, Corey?
I just tell you a little about where this context is coming from, this tweet. Yesterday, there was a video floating around in Twitter Hexaco that was very like, oh, you need to add $1.5 billion to just 15x the price in Pulsex. And they were on this video. I don't want to now say who the works. I don't want to I don't want to do that, but like they were naming all the numbers, and they had this like calculator on the video. Well, it turned out like it was all wrong. Like a lot of people came out and they're like, no, your math is wrong, blah, blah, blah. And like they were like way off where you can 10x the price off 100 million. I mean, Richard mentions it in here, but the math was way off from that video. And so like we saw like Top Gun Hetzikin, he was out there giving the right math, and there was like two other people I saw. Like it was a lot. And so I think Richard saw that, and he was trying to give some context to that video because the video was wrong. And there was a couple influencers who were shilling that video. And so that's where all this came from. So.
Yeah, and it's good. I mean, I think it's useful to see this math. I mean, you look at something like the SAC wallet. SAC wallet had what, like $600 million in ETH when it was buying. It's down a little bit. Some people, in fact, that leads to the next narrative that we could talk about, which I think is a funny one. There's a lot of people that are feeling obviously and openly nervous about, once again, whoever controls the SAC funds buying ETH at the prices that whoever controls that bought them, because it's dipped a little bit. And there's people saying, oh, they're down $50 million, poof, gone in an instant. Well, it's not gone if you're not selling today. And so, like, just chill out. And nobody's here to, well, some people are here to sell tomorrow. I would be willing to wager that the SAC wallet is not here to sell tomorrow. They're playing for the ETF, just like they mentioned before. And yeah, I think we're going to be just fine.
Yep, I agree 100%. I mean, we're still early in the stages of the market cycle. Like everyone, it's just, once again, like we were saying last show, Dane, people need to get off Twitter and just go do something with their family and stop watching all the FUD videos. And it's just, yeah, you're going to FUD yourself out of legacy wealth if you're not careful. So, and it's everywhere, guys. I mean, if you look at other ecosystems, all ecosystems are retracing back. They're all pushing back, taking back some of the gains that were made, in December, January, February. And if you want to push sell, go ahead, and you want to go buy into other assets, you have the right to do it. Go do it. I mean, those assets are pulling back too, so you'd be just swapping one for the other. So I mean, it's like we had mentioned earlier, Pulsechain did a 5x. We're sitting at about a 3x. PulseX did like a 7 or 8x. I don't know exactly where it's at now, but the Ink token did like a 20 to 25x. Like, these are good numbers. We ran hard, and we were waiting, or not waiting. We were needing this pullback. That's very healthy. And so, the funny part is we ran when all the other altcoins were running. We were a little bit lagging. We were a little bit on the back end. Like Solana was first. And then like we saw some of the other ones running, and then we finally ran, but we ran harder than some of these other layer ones. If you go do the math and comparison, like look at Phantom. We ran harder than Phantom. Like you look at these other blockchains, I mean, we weren't the hardest, but we also weren't the laggiest either. So like, I don't know. It's I'm here for it. I still have the conviction. I still have the belief. I don't believe in any of the narratives I see or hear. Everything is just narratives, either deigned to either get you to cope or be exit liquidity. Like that's what narratives are there for. It's I mean, go stake all your bags 5555, Dane, and see what that gets you.
See how that does. Yep, exactly. So yeah, I think it's interesting to pay attention to things that I'm telling you, your brain is like a garden, and you need to prune it and cultivate it in such a way to foster the things that will benefit you, the frameworks to think in. And most of crypto Twitter is the opposite of that. And so, be wise about the content you're consuming there is what I would say.
Yeah, I've seen this narrative too on Twitter. The public manner of that ETH buy was age shaking weak hands out. I don't think that was the intention though. Like I can't imagine, like, if I have billions of dollars, I'm like, I buy an asset and then it goes down and be like, I only bought that because I wanted to shake out the weak hands. I lost $100 million to shake out the weak hands. So it's like, once again, that's just a narrative, on Twitter floating around for cope. I just don't.
Right.
I know myself. Like, why would you spend $100 million to shake out weak hands? It's just more narratives. Yep. They're everywhere.
Here's another one. I like this one that Paul's proposing. Yeah, who's to say the SAC wallets aren't going to be deploying funds over the bear market to help cushion the sell pressure?
It could.
Yeah. It could. I mean, maybe they never buy again. Maybe they go through a mixer and they disappear forever. Like like nobody knows. And it's interesting. In the end of the day, you've got to make your bets where you feel confident and comfy, and then ride those horses. Nothing has changed. In my opinion, nothing has changed. What's the framework here we have for Pulsechain that we've been talking about from the very beginning? You have a billionaire or a supposed billionaire that likes to buy his own tokens. I mean, can you point me to that anywhere else? That's a great starting point. You have somebody that's in charge that pumped or created a cryptocurrency that did a 10,000x. Show me somebody that's done that. There's not many of them. You know, show me a stronger community, or I should say a more vocal community. Maybe strong is the wrong word. Show me
It's
more
strong on
vocal.
Green Candle days.
Yeah, strong on Green Candle Day. Show me a more vocal community. You know, like I just, you place your bets, you ride those horses, and then you see what happens. And the nice thing about this is, like, you know, you're not going to play anything perfect. Nobody's going to, you know, buy the perfect bottoms and sell the perfect tops, or at least most people aren't. And so chasing these other shiny objects and things, you know, is you know, a little, be wise in how you're allocating is all I would say. We've been here for a long time. We've been here since the beginning of Pulsechain. We're not going anywhere. And I feel like we're in a fine position off the bottom, looking at the price chart. So yeah, relax.
That's all that matters is charts. That's you know, any strong TA, like Han says it all the time. Like, I don't need the news. Because I don't care what the news is. I'll just tell you what I see in the charts, and then the news is an aftermath effect of the charts. Good chartists always say that. I don't need to know it. Something like the macro, like S&P, like they'll tell you, oh, I don't need to know what's going on in the macro. All I gotta do is look at the charts, and I can tell you what's going to happen down the road. There will be an event, a massive event. It will be bearish news, but we don't know what that is. But it's already showing in the charts. Like these guys, they can see these things. That's why I really like following like Hans and some of these really Sprack Burger's another one, Dane, who I like.
Yeah, like
I got to meet him in person, which was awesome. If you're watching the show, Sprack was great meeting you in Vegas. He's another good one that will, you know, foresee some of these either doom and gloom type narratives that come out, or the bullish narratives that will come out. Like Hans predicted, kind of like the bullish news that we received, that we got from Richard Hart and his 11 attorneys. He saw that like playing out before we had those news. It's crazy that he knew that the chart would change trajectory and do something during that time. He didn't know the news. He didn't know RH is going to come out and go, I got 11 attorneys. I'm going to fight the SEC for you. Your freedom. Like, he didn't know that. Like, he doesn't got any inside, but he saw it in the charts. He saw it in all the other, some of the other mystical stuff he does too, with the moon and stars. I don't know.
astrology, yeah.
All that crazy stuff, man. It's like, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah, you know what it is, man? It's just human emotion, and we are habitual creatures, and we tend to like just repeat the same thing over and over and over again. And our habits, and even in the economics and the way we do things, it's just we're the same. And we've been that way since the dawn of time. And that's why you can put these fractals and be like, well, we should be doing this because humans, that's what you do. Humans, like, aliens got to look down at us and laugh and be like, I'd be like, man, they're so easy to read. Look at them just doing the exact same thing over and over again. Like, I guess maybe the way we look at ants, we're like, okay, you're going to come out, you're going to do this. You're going to,
Sure.
we're just programmed.
Sure. Well, and you said a bunch of times, Corey, and I like this saying. So the truth tends to typically be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you have some of the maxis saying we're going to do a 10,000x. You have some of the bears that say that, you know, we're going to go off and roll over and die. And I'd venture to say that, you know, we're probably somewhere in the middle. I think we're going to do just fine. We're going to do just fine. I'd be I'll be in the camp that's surprised if we get a 10,000x. I hope we do. I think that would be great. But I think we'll end up somewhere in the middle, which will be just fine, as long as you're building a mental framework through which it serves you and you're setting yourself up to win. So many people are going to have way too high a price targets. They'll take no profits, and they'll be the bag holders through the next bear market. Make sure that's not you.
And the one way to prevent that from happening, or one strategy, is make sure you have enough exposure. And I get maybe you don't have more money. Okay, well, how can you go and earn more money so you can get more exposure? So that way you don't need 1,000x. You shouldn't need that to change the trajectory of your life. It's nice when you get them. Don't get me wrong. Like, there are the lottery winners that happen. Hex was one of those, obviously. And like you said, Dana, I hope one of these assets, these new assets, do it too, man. That'd be nice if they all did it. But I'm not going to build my portfolio out or bet on the trajectory of me and my family's life around a 10,000x. I want to make sure I have very realistic expectations and I build it out accordingly. And you guys should do the same. And if you if you're having like, oh, I don't have more money, I mean, you still have time, go out there and create value to the world to receive compensation for that value. There's many ways to do it. You can create money in this world. There's a lot of it out there. And then you can bring that money and put it in crypto and help your exposure, if you would say, by doing that, right? Go flip a house. I know that could be a little bit, difficult right now if depending on what market you're in, but there are some markets that are still, I have some buddies who are still killing it. You can go flip one house and make 20, 30, 40, 50 grand and bring that in, put it in crypto, right? And then now that you just upped your exposure. I mean, with 50 grand, you don't need a 10,000x. You don't need 1,000x on 50 grand. I mean, even 100x, what is that, 5 million on 50 grand?
Not a bad day at the office.
Not a bad day at the office. Like, that's 100x. You're no longer in the camp with all these morons on Twitter going 10,000, 1,000. You've left that camp with only 50 grand invested. Like, literally, you've came down to a point where 5 million probably would do all right for you and your family. That would be a nice day, especially with a time frame of a year.
Yeah.
Like, what other asset class can you take 50 grand and go to 5 million in 1 year? Dude, there's nothing out there that does that. Nothing. So, like, I'm not saying we're going to do 100x either, but 100x is a lot more probable than 1,000x.
Sure. But even a 10x on 50K, you get yourself to $500,000. Like, that's a lot of ammo to go do some damage with. You could do a lot of things with $500,000 to continue to put yourself in a position where you can be more happy. You don't have to go work a job for some boss that you hate. If you have $500,000 in the bank, you could go buy or start a business with that much money.
There you go.
I mean, you could go buy a business for $500,000 to net $500,000 a year.
Yes.
Like, there's so many opportunities, and you don't need millions and millions of dollars to change your life in a big way. Now, we all prefer that, right? That would be great. But gosh, like, you don't need the moon and the stars for this to be a success, this bull run. And so make sure that you set yourself up where you've got enough exposure here when things are still relatively cheap, and have a framework through which you can think so you can take some profits, make some moves in the bear market.
100%. And keep that money working for you even throughout the bear. And that could be you just said, Dane, by buying businesses, maybe buying real estate, maybe investing in some oil and gas, depending on what your risk tolerance is. Oil and gas is a little more on the riskier side in the real world asset class. Yeah, just keep at it. Most of us have plenty of time in our life to create wealth. Everybody's just so quick and easy to want to be a lottery winner. That's the problem. It's that mindset.
I would say on this one, 5,000x. Don't be so bearish. Probably 5,001. Yeah. I really like this comment. I'm excited to see these pullbacks. I'm hopeful we don't have a left translated cycle. I'd like to see kind of normal play out, top out in 2025 somewhere. Like, I would prefer that. That would be great.
Me too.
Have some of that data stay intact. So I'm hopeful. Yeah, let's see what happens over the next 30 to 60 days.
We need the normal 39. Actually, it's funny. It's 39. Like, 39 is always the percentage pullback that Bitcoin does during this time, during the cycle. It's always 39%, which is weird. So we need to see that happen. And then we need to see like a normal altcoin season. We need to see Ethereum do its thing. Like, and just where we're at, you guys who've been around for multiple cycles know what I'm talking about. And like someone like Hans, obviously he's not even sweating it. He's like, oh, this is part of the cycle, right? This is where we're at. And so we need to see it keep doing that, because the break of the all-time high pre-Bitcoin halving was the first indicator to tell us that this could be a left translated cycle. Now, one thing I do know that that I believe in is the Ray Dalio, the most recent report or pro economics. I'm a big Ray Dalio fan. If you guys aren't fans of Ray Dalio, I'd suggest going following, watching some of his content, read his books. He's written a couple
Great
really good
books.
books. One of my favorites is a book called Principles, which is not only a way to live or run your business, but a way to live your life. A lot of that stuff in that book, very, very
Get the audio book if you're going to tackle that one. It's a monster of a book.
It's a monster book.
There's some dry parts, so you can speed it up if it's on audio.
It's good, but Ray Dalio saying this is the beginning of the AI build out, the way the internet was the beginning in the 90s of that massive run, and that we're not in bubble territory because of that, and that we should continue this going into 25 and even 26. So so I respect Ray Dalio because he's not like a perma bull or perma bear. The guy is made billions of dollars running. What's it? I can't remember the fund, the place. Black. It's like Blackwater or something like that.
Something water, isn't it? Ray Dal. Let's see, Dalio.
Maybe it's Blackstone. I feel like it was something water.
Bridgewater.
Thank you, Bridgewater. And that's his claim to fame, and he's made his investors. If you read his book, he's made his investors time over time money. Like he brings them money, and he's good at it. So like I trust this guy. Well, is it a guarantee? Absolutely not. And you better have a plan if it doesn't play out that way. That's all. You're an investor. Part of your job and role as an investor is to think through all the different scenarios that could happen in the future, because we don't have a crystal ball. So that way you don't get caught with your pants down. You didn't think these things through. That's part of your job as an investor in any asset class, anything, right? And so like just think about that going forward. And so, yeah, the left translated cycle is still on the table, but I'm hoping it's not. And there are some things pointing to showing that it might not be. So we'll see.
Sure. Yeah, nice. Wasn't his favorite book. That's fair. There are some dry parts. I enjoyed it, but I had to speed it up during sections for sure.
Yeah.
Posting about Gophers. Speaking of Gophers has been a fun one. So Gophers is a meme coin that Dip Catcher from the Maximus team has released. He launched Gophers on Pulsechain and on Ethereum. Both are outpacing Pulsechain and Ethereum by a pretty large margin, which is fun to see, and is going to launch it over on Solana. So that's a cool one that I like. I'm an investor, and Corey is as well. And so you make your own financial decisions. Maybe it all goes to zero. I like that one. We participated in the Solana one as well. Yeah,
absolutely good play. I know he's getting a lot of FUD for like, he's going to Solana. Like, who cares? Like, he can do whatever the heck he wants. And there is some cross-pollination that can come of it. Like, I don't care what people do. And like, I mean, I have a portion of my portfolio that I will use to invest in that's outside of my blue chips. And so like, that's part of my portion of the portfolio. I got stuff on AVAX. I got stuff on Arbitrum. I got stuff on Ethereum, obviously. And, now I have something over on Solana. When I first got into the crypto, I was Phantom. That's what I would go and do. I was big into the whole Phantom ecosystem and all that. Dude, it was like, I feel like Phantom was one of the first, like, go make 1,000% APY from yield farming. Like that was one of the big, like everyone was doing that over there on Phantom. It was crazy with Spooky Swap and all this, like, it was a crazy narrative in the bull this last cycle. Obviously, we'll see when it resurrects this cycle. They have an update coming down the road. They have a really big update, and I saw Dollar Cost Crypto talking about it. So Phantom might have some life, whether it happens right now or later, who knows? But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with placing some lottery bets outside.
Yep, agreed. We can get into REITs a little bit. You want to get into some REIT talk here, Corey?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So REITs, yeah, we could talk about REITs a little bit. REIT, what does a REIT stand for? It's real estate investor, what is it, trust syndicate or something like that? Essentially,
Real estate investment trust. Yeah.
yeah. So essentially, a REIT is, it's a company that pools investors' funds together to go do crypto. A really simple explanation. That's what REITs are. So it is very much a not your keys, not your coins type of deal. But that's really common in real estate, and that's not necessarily a bad thing to go and invest in real estate by taking a more passive position. So Corey and I prefer that. We prefer to be more passive investors when it comes to real estate because just like any investment or business, most people are going to suck at it. Most people that try their hand at real estate, they suck at doing real estate, and it could be far more profitable to have somebody take you by the hand that already has a good business, know what they're doing, and invest alongside of them, you being a money partner or part of the money to go and do deals. So I like that form of investing in real estate. It's critical that you find somebody with a track record, with somebody that has experience, that's done good deals over and over and over again. And that is not something, in my opinion, to go and at least where Corey and I are at in our careers. I'm not real interested in going and investing with somebody that's like new and trying to break the mold and all that type of stuff. That's a good recipe for losing your money most of the time. So yeah, I think REITs can be a good passive, low upside, but also consistent type of way to invest in real estate.
Yep, I prefer REITs. You trade those on the New York Stock Exchange is where they you can become tradable now. I like to just go into syndications or funds where they're not tradable, or basically they're doing like a syndication's like a raise, maybe like on this 800 unit apartment complex, we're going to raise up $5 million, and so you just get a pool of investors to go in on that one apartment complex. That's usually where you see greater returns on your money versus like a REIT, where a REIT is more like I think D Nice right here, almost like a Grant Cardone type style and raise. Although I don't think he does REITs, his are funds, but you don't get the really good returns even out of a Grant Cardone type fund because you just have all of retail in there, and it's just like anybody that can get in that. It's just
Yeah,
now we're
I
gonna
think
get
I think those
that
typically
deal.
pay out somewhere between like 3 and 8% APR, something like
Yeah,
that.
or some of our guys can get us like 20% IRR, anywhere from 15 to 25% IRR, and that includes, the IRR includes like your depreciation, the tax benefits, the equity, cash flow. But if you think about 25%, man, in crypto, even that's halfway okay when you're making 25%, on your money. So like, yeah, we get pretty good deals. We had one of our buddies just the other day who had I think it was a 500 unit over in Houston, Texas, that he was funding, and it was a smoking deal. And had I not been so invested in crypto, I would have probably gone at that deal. And those are the type of deals I will be going into when and that was a syndication. And come 2025, when we're looking to take profits, I'm not going to put my money in the bank account. I'm not gonna just like let my money just sit there and all this hard work and all this risk we take to go back down to being worth nothing. I'm gonna continue hedging, and if you're in the right real estate deals, you can still hedge that inflation sum.
Yep, agreed. This is a cool comment. I was unaware of this one. Pulsechain Foundation memberships are now open, hoping to raise funds for the
Yep.
Pulse MEXC listing.
Triple
Yeah.
Coffee's headstrong in this, and had a conversation with them at the Kava Bar a couple months back about it. There's a lot of FUD going around because MXC is out of the United States type listing. But hey, it's a good start, guys. Like for me, I think it's a good start. We're not only in the United States, Pulsechain. We're worldwide.
Right.
This is worldwide. We're in Europe. We're in Australia. We're in Asia. We need all these guys about to come in and buy. And this could be a first stepping stone. I mean, Coffee probably knows a lot more about it than I do. I shouldn't really talk too much because there's probably a lot to it. But yeah, he's one of the founding members. Plus, like there's a couple other guys too. top 20 CEX. Yeah, top 20 centralized exchanges. That's it, man. It's in the top 20 centralized exchange. That's a great stepping stone, to getting where we need to go. And I mean, while we're in this like mini bear, if you will, let's keep building. Let's keep doing, the good work. And I'm glad to see that these guys are doing it. Yeah, I met a couple of these guys at the Vegas meetup too, Dane. These guys they're doing a lot for Pulsechain, which is really cool.
That is cool. It's good to see. It's important. We need all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, great question. So we have got some really cool things cooking in the background. We'll talk more about as the bull market really starts to get underway over the next several months. So yes, there will be opportunities to look at deals and potentially even be part of the deals that Corey and I are going to be part of. And that's one of the reasons we build our community. So we've got about 160 some odd members right now. And those guys are going to be doing the deals right alongside of us when it's time to take profits from crypto and having a true bear market hedge instead of buying some other crypto and hoping that it's a bear market hedge when nothing has proven to be that in the crypto world so far.
But
so,
Dane, yes. you're staked.
Oh, geez. No, we're not going to get into that right now. I'm not going to do it.
The APY, Dane, the yield, the yield.
I'm going to out earn a 99% dip with my yield, bro. No, come on, man. Don't sell me that. I don't get out of bed for less than 138%.
I know Tin Top, and I know he does. He's about right. He came to one of our real estate events, and he's like, "Man, they're not giving me 138% here. I'm out. Peace."
I like it. That's funny. Yeah, nice to see you in this turbulent period. My bags are packed, but dang, it makes me go back 6 months ago, and it hurts to add more to my bags. Debating to diversify or doubling down. Yeah. I think I love this thought process. I think it's really healthy to be able to reevaluate where you're at, how you're building, and I don't think there's any harm in diversifying a little bit at all. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing wrong diversifying. If you want to double down, just be mindful that we could see some more downward pressure. So obviously, if you're doubling down, DCA is always your friend. Like the DCA strategy, guys, it's been time tested from centuries in the stock market. Like that is your friend if you're getting into these assets, and we don't know where our new local bottom is going to be at. Maybe we're going to be at bottom here on the top of the Ikimushi cloud. Or maybe we shoot right through it and find another bottom. We just don't know, and that's why DCA is your friend. So be mindful of all that.
Exactly. Yep, absolutely. We'll keep you posted. I'm telling you, we've got some very cool things in the works to be able to give you guys a real bear market hedge. Nobody's doing what we're working on. It'll be nuts.
And we're not just going to launch some random coin like every other. We're talking about like doing some real estate with you guys. That's what we want to do. We want to do real estate deals with you guys. Have you guys come in, and preserve that wealth. I mean, we put our money where our mouth's at. We want to use crypto as a wealth creation tool and use real estate as a wealth preservation tool. I am not sitting in crypto, guys, and experiencing a 70 to 99% drop of my economic value. I'm not doing it. Where historically it's done that every single time. Okay, maybe it doesn't do it as maybe the gains are diminished and maybe the volatility to the downside is diminished. I don't care. Like I don't want to. If I know historically that's what's going to happen, why would I not pull the money out and put it in an asset class that's going to give me tax benefits? It's going to give me appreciation, go up in value, give me cash flow, and preserve that wealth. Like why would you not do that? It's some of these guys, I see them on Twitter and talking about never selling and talking about bear market hedges and crypto. There is no such thing yet. I mean, yeah, you can go to stable coins and maybe park it into like a liquid loans or the stability pool, or maybe you got over there I think actually the not Fux, but Fiat is paying some pretty good yields on their stables, I think 30% right now, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty good. Like you might want to leave some liquidity there in some stables, earning that yield, so that way you can have some liquidity to go start grabbing dips initially. But That's about it, man. I will have a lot of my wealth transformed to real estate. And the great thing about, when you're in a syndication or a fund, you can structure these deals to where you're very liquid. And me and Dane are working on, like I said, working on something where we're going to structure where you're very liquid. So that way, if you want to come out of the real estate deal and buy Hex because it bottomed, well, let's give you the capability of doing that. That's the plan.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I love this comment. Diversifying is okay, habitually better also. Yes, absolutely. In fact, we talk about this with our group all the time. You're overexposed if you can't sleep at night, and you're underexposed if you're not excited about what your portfolio is doing. So you got to find that balance for you.
It's a good indicator. Like,
Yep, you got to find that balance for you. While we're on the topic of narratives, I see people on Twitter. I think it's important to take a step back from crypto and say, like, if I was looking at this in any other context, would it be a wise decision? Because a lot of people throw everything out and they're like, but this is crypto, bro. Well, look, bro, if you're planning on a 90% dip, I see people on Twitter still, they're like, well, if I get a 90, if we go to this price and then it dips 90%, what is my yield then? Like, is it still going to be enough to live my life and give me some look, if you're planning on a 90% dip and you think you're going to hold that and trying to plan yield around like creating life, no, you would never do that in any other asset class. That is so foolhardy. It blows my freaking mind. There is no wisdom in that. None. And so, like, I don't know. You build your bags however you see fit. We're just here to help.
Very good stance. So, yeah, looking at this asset class the way you would look at any asset class.
Come on.
Just to give your the best analysis you possibly can. It's wild to me. Once again, it's just narratives and people buying into those narratives and believing that the narratives are factual, which all narratives are not. They're just what they are. They're narratives. Like, the only thing that's factual is market cycles in the story. Market cycles rule. That's it. And so, yeah, it's funny what people will spin up, or communities will spin up to create exit liquidity for the top of the pyramid.
Yep, absolutely.
All it is.
Absolutely. Cool, guys. Well, this has been good. I'm going to jump off and go eat lunch. Corey, is there anything else that you want to cover before we jump off?
I see 313 members watching. I think a lot of you guys are on Twitter. Come over and smash the likes and hit the subscribe, the bell notification on YouTube if you like what you're seeing. If you like this content, basically what we cover today is what we cover like all the time, but in different formats. We're always, here to cut through the narrative, cut through the noise, and deliver you the best content possible to help us all build, our bags and create legacy wealth. That's what we're all here for. So, guys, come over and click like, hit the subscribe over on our YouTube, DeFi Crypto Alliance, Corey Geary, also with Dane, Money Talk with Dane. And I think we might be here this week. I'm not sure yet. We have a couple of events that cancel. So we might be on the remainder of the week, maybe for Open Mic Friday. We'll see. No guarantees, but you guys watch my channel. I will be posting on there what we're going to, if we're not going to stream. And if I'm not posting, that usually means that we are going to stream. So,
yep, we're planning on it. Yeah, 100x incoming, sir. We're on it. We're on it.
That's called a meme coin. That's usually at the meme coin have the little rug pull too. You'll see like the massive chart. It does this huge green candle, and then it's like, it's like,
yep, brutal. All right, cool guys. Have a good one.
Hey guys, peace.